been discussing the form with Keith Hillier, who's returned after being in Japan for a couple of weeks. Keith, you went to Darwin for about 6 months, it felt like, for the Darwin Cup. You go to Japan, you were away for about 4 or 5 weeks. Take a long time to get home from the races these days, mate.
Yes, Bruce. Well, I didn't back a winner in either venue, and it's a long trip home. Luckily, it's all downhill, isn't it? Both
Sure is. We've talked about it with Brian last week, and the great run by Shaftesbury Avenue. Just your overall impressions of the race again? I mean, it's
great race, and it showed that our horses are definitely up to international standard. Maybe Shaftesbury Avenue should have won. Just as a sidelight over there, Bruce, off-track betting, there's only 4 or 5 betting outlets in the whole of Tokyo. They're 5 or 6 floors high. Punters cram into them like sardines, so naturally you bet with a phone account. You must have $5,000 in it. You're only allowed to lose $1,000 a day. If you lose $1,000, you must stop betting. If you don't restore your balance back to $5,000 that day, you'll find $200. It's a crazy way of betting. The government discourages betting.
How would you get on?
Oh, it would suit me fine, believe me.
How would you find $1,000 a day?
Couldn't.
No, neither could I.
Not even a yen.
No. Did you find a winner yesterday?
No, I didn't, but the punters generally did. Bookies really had another tallying. They've had a pretty tough trot in Melbourne the last few weeks, and I think about 6. There's only one result for them yesterday. That was Printer's Choice. The rest were all losing races, I'd say.
Yes, they've really struggled since the Spring Carnival, basically. Not the depth in field. Now, Pressman's Choice yesterday, he's got this remarkable Sandown record, and he won the last, and he is a classy type of horse to be winning in the middle of December.
Yes, 5 times to the track, 5 wins, including a Sandown Cup. And yesterday's win, when he came from last, was within 0.2 seconds of the record for that distance, Bruce.
He's a super horse at Sandown. He's unbeaten. Keith's just told us he's been there 5 times for 5 wins. Let's have a look at Pressman's Choice in the last yesterday.
And Luis on Bijou had skipped away. About 4 lengths in advance here of Boricado. 2 lengths to Temporizer. A length then to Glen Condor over on the inside, being followed by Highly Geared, Reformed Princess and Favoured Boy. Pressman's Choice is starting to gain ground, but he's giving the leader about 15 lengths as they come up towards the 700. Luis on Bijou out full of running by 4 lengths to Temporize running on. 3 lengths away, Highly Geared, Reformed Princess, and back behind them, Boricado, Favoured Boy and Pressman's Choice. And then Glen Condor as they round the home turn. Luis on Bijou with a big break, about 3 lengths to Temporize at the 400. In third place, Highly Geared, Reformed Princess and Pressman's Choice is a fair way back. Coming down towards the 300, Luis on Bijou is still the leader. About 2.5 lengths to Highly Geared in hot pursuit, and here comes Pressman's Choice down the outside with a rattling run. Luis on Bijou is the leader, but Pressman's Choice is coming after it very quickly in the final stages. Pressman's Choice going home the better level, hits the front, and Pressman's Choice draws away and wins it well. Pressman's Choice by a length to Luis on Bijou, 3 lengths away, third to Highly Geared.
John Sadler there had a pretty ordinary day coming to that. The trainer, but young Danny Nikolic had a terrific day winning. Where's he going now, Pressman's?
Probably the Summer Cup in Sydney, Bruce, although the temptation is to go to Perth for the Railway Stakes, the temptation being that he has only 55 kilos there. And you mentioned of Danny Nikolic, his treble yesterday put him within 1 win of reducing his claim to 1.5. He's riding ever so well. He's
a terrific rider. It's interesting, you mentioned the Summer Cup, which is a 1.5 mile race, 2,400. The Railways are 1,600. Where do you think he fits in? That was a 2,100 yesterday. Is he a miler or is he a 1.5 mile horse?
Good question, tough question. He has won, of course, at the 1.5 mile, the 2,400 metres of the Sandown Cup. But the Railway Stakes at Ascot is a testing 600 metres, and if he didn't run between now and then, that's on the 28th, I think, of December. Yeah. Then that would be an ideal race with 55 kilos.
Yeah, nice and fresh. You'd be steaming home. So a couple of options there for John Sadler. One of the other interesting races at Sandown yesterday was the Sprint. Pontormo was very much in question here. You'll see him about 2 off the fence in the straight, running on well. He looks like going to Sydney for the big Villiers. Let's have a look at Printer's Choice leading all the way.
Printer's Choice, the leader, led out by a length and a half in advance here of Durham River, second past the 800. Mara's close handy, a length to Tango Master, followed by Opening Ceremony. A length Temperate King on the outside of Marabou's Phantom, and they were followed by Ben Barra Knight, Master Painter in behind them, followed by Acid Print Pontormoa, and Kadima's last, about 8 lengths off the lead as they come around the home turn. Printer's Choice doing it well into the straight, led 2 lengths in advance of Durham Rivers. A length and a half Tango Master over on the inside, Opening Ceremony, and a long gap further back is Marabou's Phantom, and the favourite favourites are not in it at the moment. Kadim is still last as they come down with 300 to go, where Printer's Choice is nicely out in front, about 2 lengths to Durham Rivers. Here comes Ben Barra Knight, Tango Master running on well, and Pontormo is finishing strongly along the inside, but the leader, Printer's Choice, about 100 metres left to go, looks like hanging on. They're getting to it, but Printer's Choice will hang on and score. Printer's Choice has won it. Tight for the minor placings. Pontormo is there, may have run second. From Durham Rivers, the inside, Tango Master and Ben Barra Knight, and just behind them, Kadim.
Well, the last time you would have seen Pontormo, he was beating Shaftesbury Avenue, Keith, in the Honda. He's since run a place at Caulfield in the sprint and just missed out again yesterday. He's still going pretty well, isn't he?
Yes, I thought the distance was too short for him yesterday. Lee Friedman was a little disappointed with the run, but Damien Oliver wasn't, and plans are for him to go on to the Villiers. The winner, Printer's Choice, he's a good meal ticket. He's owned by a mate of mine, Neil Petch. I had Christmas lunch with Neil, or drinks, on race eve. Not a word was spoken. You wouldn't believe it, Chris.
Didn't tip you at all?
Not a word.
Just 16 to 1?
Yeah.
Gee, I must say something about your mates, Keith. The blokes you hang around with. I've got a horse coming up. I'll tip you that one, mate.
Yeah. Sorry.
You don't tell anyone.
No.
Shh.
Yeah.
Let's go to Sydney, Keith. Strasbrook, a horse that had won the George Ryder a couple of years ago, which is a Group 1 race. He'd been very, very ill since. It was thought at one stage that he might be lost to the world. He could pass on, but he didn't. He's survived. He's back in business and ran a pretty good race yesterday. Fort Isle, the former New Zealander, the winner here.
To the 800 mark, and On Guard goes to the lead under a throttle hold over Fort Isle. Running third, Top Comedian, a very slowly run sprint race, followed by Generous Prince Cavaliers in a good spot. A length away, Autumn Dew, followed by Procol Harum, and then Strasbrook niggled a bit coming up the hill. Magic Gleam is second last, and Algonquin Brave is last as they come to the corner. Fort Isle has got right up on the inside to join On Guard as they turn for home, and Top Comedian's got to make a line of 3. Then Generous Prince Cavaliers going well, but he can't get a shot at them at the moment, followed by Autumn Dew and Strasbrook. In the straight, Fort Isle led from On Guard. Cavaliers trying to shunt his way into the clear, followed by Autumn Dew and Strasbrook wide out, but Fort Isle's in front. Autumn Dew's the one to go after him. Autumn Dew is overhauling Fort Isle. Fort Isle still in front, and he'll just fall in to win. Fort Isle wins from Autumn Dew. Third's close, Procol Harum and Strasbrook, and Magic Gleam wide out.
Yes, the couple of good runs there, Procol Harum and Strasbrook. They're probably the horses that Pontormo might have to beat in the Villiers, which is the big mile race over the Christmas period.
Yeah, I think he's up to those, Bruce. He'd be competitive up there. Jimmy Cassidy rode a treble there, so he dominated the meeting at Canterbury yesterday.
Yeah, he missed out a bit in the Spring Carnival this year, Jim, but he's bounced back very, very well. The other big race yesterday in Brisbane, the $60,000 Tattersalls. King Rautai was a hot favourite here, 13 to 8, but didn't handle the step up in distance, and a very impressive performance by an underrated mare, Rose Road.
800 metres to go. Rose Road a length and a half in front. Noble Club second on the inside of First Runner. Then Bronze Bunker, McGuinness Crown, Best Magic. Private Tutor, King Rautai. Then Donatel, Brandon Bell, Wool Press. Next is Shinvari. Then High Bernard and Katimavik. Racing onto the corner. 450 metres to go. Rose Road, she straightens up. 2 clear of Noble Clubs. First Runners drop back. Passed by McGuinness Crown. Then Private Tutor. To the outside, King Rautai has now popped the big question. He's chasing these leaders, but he'll want to get going because he's about 6 lengths from the leader. Rose Road is going strongly, 200 metres out. She got away from Noble Clubs again. She's 3 in front. She's going like a winner, Rose Road. Rose Road 3 clear of Noble Clubs, then Brandon Bell running on. But it's all Rose Road, and it's go to woe for her. Rose Road first, second Noble Clubs, third Brandon Bell.
Well, I sound like a broken old record this morning, Keith, but she also might go for the Villiers. Now, that race over 1,600, she only had 16 starts and won 8. Got a bit of ability, that mare.
Yes, it was a short price favourite in the race, but she was an 8 to 1 chance. She won like a shorty should. The margin was 4 lengths.
Yeah, straight to the front and home and hosed. During the week, the big race was the Hawkesbury Gold Cup, worth $100,000 this race. An interesting runner was Majestic Boy, who's off to Hong Kong for the Hong Kong Cup, which will be run next Sunday. Bit disappointing. Shining Wind was most impressive in this race, and I think the runner-up's also going to be a horse to watch. Let's go to Hawkesbury.
As they race through the dip now with about 900 to go in the cup. Wayer's Delight just led Chrome Blade, and Round Opera makes a line of 3. A length and a half away, Shining Wind on the inside of Diego Valdez. A length and a half further back then is Pre-Record, getting a nice run on the inside of Tombstone. Majestic Boy has dropped off a little bit. He's being niggled hard by Dye. He's going backwards, Majestic Boy. Jack Attack is coming into it with Prince Trialia, and then our Freeze Frame and Cross Swords, followed by Thrifty Reserve, Explosive Force. A long way back, Galleon's Prince Gem and Mr. Exclusive as they thunder around the turn in the Hawkesbury Cup. And it's Wayer's Delight, Chrome Blade and Round Opera. Shining Wind is putting in a dash, and then Diego Valdez followed by Jack Attack and his pre-record on the extreme outside. Shining Wind is the leader inside the 200, clear of pre-record. Shining Wind has burst clear though. He's got the Cup one. A stablemate of last year's winner, Rancho Classic. Shining Wind came away to beat pre-record. Third, Thrifty Reserve.
Yes, the Queenslander winning well. Their pre-record improving all the time. I reckon he's certainly worth following. Remember he ran a short price favourite in the Sandown Guineas in Melbourne last year and got beaten, but he's a pretty handy horse.
That's right, and a disappointing run there from the Hong Kong representative, wasn't it?
You going up there?
No, I'm not. I was there last week, Bruce. It's time to tell you a quick story.
Yeah,
the colours
go,
ran
yeah.
at the start at Hong Kong. Naturally, they backed the favourites. And when the roughies come round in order, they rant and rave and try and agitate them, get them stirred up. And when the favourite comes round, they go...
By the way, Keith, we didn't have time to tell that story. I just got a
thanks,
message from the...
Okay.
It wasn't bad anyway.
See you next week if I'm allowed.
Yeah, just sit there.